Hey everyone.
Hey bag makers, I'm Sarah Lawson from Sew Sweetness. This is my husband Danny, and you're watching Sewcial Sunday, my weekly sewing chat. Hey everybody, welcome to Sewcial Sunday. Thanks so much for joining us for the show. I see Wilma's watching from Spokane Valley. She says I get to watch live for once. Yay, Wilma. Kim's watching from Ottawa, Canada. And Tina's watching from California. So thank you everyone so much for joining us. We're going to be chatting some. I made a lot of projects this past week, and then at the end of the show I have a giveaway and I'll be answering some questions live. So earlier today, Danny, I, and the kids watched a movie that we've been wanting to watch for a while. It's called Yesterday.
When she says we, I think she means her.
Me, yeah. If you haven't seen the movie, the premise is there's a power outage. The power goes out all over the world, and then when the lights come back on and people come to, basically, nobody in the world knows who the Beatles are or have ever heard any of their music, except for the main character, one guy. And so he recalls all of the songs. He's a musician. He recalls all of the Beatles songs and comes out with the songs as if he's written them. And it's just a really interesting movie. I like revisiting the songs as he sings them, and I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it?
That was decent.
It was all right.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10? Okay. I liked it a lot. I was telling Danny before the show, I don't think I've ever made so many projects in 1 week as I have this past week. None of them are bags, so fair warning. I'm saving all of my bag energy for working on the new pattern, which I haven't been able to work on yet because we are trying to figure out our lighting setup for my step photos. And I tried with our studio setup as it is, and the photos were just not coming out with the same clarity as my previous ones, and I wanted them to match since I was already more than halfway through the pattern with the photos from the old house. So hopefully I can work on that this upcoming week. We ordered a new desk for Danny, and hopefully I can take over his teeny tiny little desk over there in the corner. So throughout the show I'm going to be sharing the projects that I made the past week. Before I do that, I wanted to let everyone know, if you haven't already noticed, our zippers by the yard or zipper tape and zipper pulls are back in stock on the website, and we have 5 new pulls. I think it's 5 new pulls in silver and rainbow finish, including a sewing machine pull. So if you haven't seen those yet, check those out. I promised to let everyone know because we've been waiting for them for some time. The black with rainbow cork, we'll get that cut beginning of this week and listed on the website. I've got 3 rolls of that, black with rainbow, and then I have more on the way because I'm sure it'll sell pretty quickly. Love the Dragon Ball Z t-shirt.
I was just going to get all this love going to the feed. For myself, while you were talking, I was just like, I might as well just push it through. Why not? Hello to everyone.
All right. You done?
No, you keep talking. I'm just going
to... So the first of the several projects that I finished this past week is a quilt that I finished the quilt top, and I had long-armed like 2 years ago, and then the unfinished quilt sat for 2 years along with at least 2 other quilts that I just needed to sew the binding on. So yesterday I finally sewed the binding on, and I really love this quilt because of the quilt pattern design, and I also love the fabrics that I chose, and it's probably one of my favorites, if not the most favorite. So I've got it here on the desk, but I did send Danny some photos to prepare before the show, so he's going to put the photos on the screen.
I don't know. Was it something else you sent me too? What was it? I have an alphabetical order. I can't remember what I labeled it as, though.
Okay, well...
The quilt. I'm going to go quilt as the second one. Boom.
Okay, we'll see. Oh, good. Yes. The correct picture. So there's the finished quilt. William and Violet held it up for me, and the picture was taking forever because one would be holding the top of the quilt taut and the other wouldn't, and then they were giggling, and then William kind of like bent over. There's one picture that I got when William was bent over. There's William in the one corner that's bent over. So The picture actually turned out pretty good, so I guess I'm glad that they were fooling around like that. But I washed the quilt up last night, and I can use it on my bed tonight, so I'm very excited. The quilt pattern is Cascade from Victoria Finlay Wolf's book called Modern Quilt Magic. The link is in the description. I used all art gallery fabrics for the quilt. Jan says, Sarah had one sit for 5 years, just needed the binding. Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, like, we're so close to finishing these quilts. It just needs the binding, but I don't know why I let it sit. Like, I kind of feel like once I finish the quilt top, like in my mind, either I'm done or I want to be done, and then I kind of like let it go. Even though I have the quilts usually long arms, I sort of wish like I could have them bound too, but
Can't have everything, right?
yeah, I can't be so lazy. I mean, we can't have.
You can't. I'm surprised they don't offer services like
Some
that.
do, some do. I don't know. Like we're supposed to be making these projects. Like I feel like I should make majority of it rather than have someone long arm it and bind it, but that's neither here nor there, I guess. Quilts that I started cutting out fabric for yesterday. I purchased the PDF pattern so that I could start it right away, but it's from my friend Gudrun from GE Designs. Maybe you watch her live show also. There's the picture of the quilt on the cover just so you can, I guess, get an idea what it looks like. And I'm using the Tula Pink homemade fabrics, and I'm trying to lay the strips out in sort of a rainbow color scheme like a Roy G. Biv. So basically you sew all of these strips that you, either a jelly roll or a fabric cut from selvage to selvage, you sew them together in either groups of 5 or 6, and then you cut everything up and then you assemble it so that they kind of form triangles over here. So I'm looking forward to finishing it. It looks like it'll be a fast finish. And then we'll see how many years it'll take me to put the binding on it when I finish it. Let's see what else I have on my list. Also, if you've been watching the show lately, then you probably know that I've been participating in the Summer Sampler 2020. So on Monday, I finished the second block out of 12 blocks, which is this one. I realized after I finished the block, I kind of chose the fabrics that were really close together, and going forward, I'm going to be try to be more mindful, but I'll let you hold up the second block. And I have the first one that I finished over here. I'm going with all light teals, blues, and sort of like citrus colors. So a little bit different than I would normally choose, but I think that's a good thing. I'm trying to not have all my quilts look the same, I guess. So the next block for Summer Sampler comes out. Lately, they've been coming out my time around midnight, so we'll see if I'm going to be up for when the quilt block comes out. So Danny's on the show with me tonight. Danny's second favorite part of the Sunday show when he's on the show is we'd like to invite all of the bag makers to stand proud. Let us know you're part of the So Sweetness Squad. Thank you so much for being part of our community. We appreciate all of you, and whether you're new here or you've been with us for years, thank you so much for joining us on the live show. I can't believe we've been doing the live show for now slightly over 3
months,
years.
so I was going to say 36 months.
36 months, yeah.
Sounds way larger than 3 years.
It really feels like we just started doing it recently, but 3 years went by like that, I guess. So thank you for joining us for the shows. Violet's been painting some pictures lately. She painted one for her room about kindness, which I didn't want to take off her wall because she used command strips to hang it, but she made one for me and I didn't have a chance to hang it yet. So I wanted to share it with you. Hopefully it comes out. Yeah, it looks pretty good. My soul is filled with a needle and thread, so she had me choose she gave me a few choices as far as the saying. She chose sewing sayings, and then she painted some pieces of fabric, and then you can probably see the needles with the thread. So Violet's been experimenting with different lettering lately. She does all sorts of different lettering, some cursive.
She made a really cool one. It said like honey's sweet for the
that
soul.
Was her
and
saying. Yeah.
It was really cool. It was like honey was dripping from the top, and she had little bees flying around and stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, she's been thinking of these all on her own. Yeah, very proud of her for doing something artistic.
Taking initiative.
With her time. Yeah.
Yep.
Another non-sewing project that I made this past week is I got a macrame kit for making a hanging flower pot holder, I guess would be the correct term for it. I've never done macrame before, but I got a kit for me and Violet so that we could each make one. And so it was really, once I got the hang of the different knots, it was pretty easy. And it was basically 3 different types of knots. So this type of knot at the top, this is a second type of knot, and then a third type of knot over here. I had to take it out once or twice just because the knots weren't looking the same as in it was a PDF pattern that I was working from, and also a companion video. But if you're interested in this, oh, Danny's going to put the pictures on the screen of pictures I took with it actually holding the plant. So I think I had 3 pictures over here, and there's my plant over there. So I think I might, we have some hooks in the bathroom, and I think I might leave this hanging in the bathroom, but I got some more string. I'm not sure if string is the correct term, or cord. I bought some more so that I could make some for gifts, because it came together, once I figured out the different knots, it came together super fast, and we're going to finish Violet's. My mistake was that I started the whole process with Violet and I working together, and because I didn't know how to execute the different knots, it was taking forever and she lost interest. But now that I have the knots down pat, we can breeze through the project. So I'm really happy with how that came out. I think that's the last of the projects. One more project, I think. I didn't write it on my outline. Yeah. Do you want to hold the rug up? I also finished my jelly roll rug that I showed. I think I just showed the package of batting and the jelly roll that I was selecting for it. Yeah, there's the jelly roll rug that I finished. It was quite an experience.
You don't want to just cover me up though, show?
No. It was quite an experience. It was, first of all, you sew the strips of fabric with the batting inside together first. So you have one long strip. You kind of roll it up so that it gets really big, the shape of the size of a basketball. And then you take it back over to the sewing machine, and then you start sewing it in the rows. And so the first half of it was super easy. The second half was tricky at first, getting the initial curves, just because they were really tight curves. But the bigger the rug got, the easier it got, just more, I guess, strength needed from your arms and shoulders. So that was the only thing, but I had a lot of fun making it, and I was already hunting for, I probably should use fabric from my stash, but I was already looking online for another jelly roll that I could possibly use for maybe a smaller rug, or you could even make placemats out of them. So it was a really fun and cool project, and I'm glad this week I got to experience a bunch of different projects and techniques, such as the macrame and the jelly roll rug. It was a lot of fun. All right, Danny's pick of the week is, I'll let you talk since it's your pick.
You sure? Mm-hmm. Okay. I was going through the Facebook group today, and I was looking around like, what do I want? And 2 things I really enjoy looking at when I'm looking at bags is science fiction fabric and either kids projects. So maybe a kid was sewing, or someone making a project for a child. I love to give gifts. My buddies, I have online friends that I play games with, and when their kids' birthdays come up, I love to offer to buy them a gift and send it to them, and I choose really loud and annoying gifts, 'cause I know those are my favorite, especially when they're not my kids. So when I saw this, Adrienne made her, I believe her niece and nephew, or grandniece and nephew, I forget which one it was, but she made Cumberland backpacks, and then she had their names embroidered on them, and I thought that looked just super cool. I love the color she chose. Everyone got a nice color, crayon fabric, and it just looked cool. I like seeing kids. I love gifts. So cool. Good to you. 2 thumbs up. Great job.
And it was funny because I walked past your computer.
Love the zippers on there too.
I walked past your computer when you were looking through the photos and making your choice, and I said, "Oh, that's so funny that is that your pick of the week?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "That's so funny because I was just speaking with Adrienne on social media earlier today. Not that you knew that, but just a fun coincidence."
I don't like Sarah to tell me what pick should I make. I always like, Sarah, this is my pick. I'll just go through the feed and I'll start opening tabs with new ones. Then I'll do like a final comparison, like side by side, which one I like better, which one.
And usually I'll come over, and if he's looking at all the pictures, like to make his choice, I'll be like, "Oh, that one looks really good," or that one, and he's like,
"Nope, sorry,
no,
it's gone now."
He gets a little testy there, like.
Sarah's too controlling. I need to be unleashed. I can't be just held down.
Unleashed.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, dear.
She's got chains on me. I gotta release these chains and be free.
Okay. All right. So, I'm going to be answering some questions live. So if you have a question for me, either a sewing related question about a notion or tool, or bag making related question, go ahead and ask your question right now in the comments, either on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you watch our show. Before we get over to that, I wanted to announce the winners from last week's giveaway. So if you recall, last week we were giving away 4 $75 gift certificates to our website, and also there was the regular giveaway at the end of the show, which was 6 rolls of cork fabric. So I'm going to read down the winners, and I've also contacted them on social media before the show. So let's start off. Should I read that first, or is that the question?
No, you can do what you're doing.
Okay.
I was just queuing it up when you're ready.
Okay, so the winner of the 6 rolls of cork was Randy Escada. So congratulations to you, Randy. And then we have the 4 $75 gift certificate winners, and they are Charlene Glover, So Moni, Arian Wright, and Lynn Bostrom. So congratulations to all 5 of you. If you heard your name and you didn't see my contact on social media, please do email me. My email is sarah@sewsweetness.com. That's Sarah with no H. And let's just get connected so that I can set you up with your prizes. So congratulations to everyone.
Sarah, let's do something even better. Since we didn't have their YouTube comments working last week, they are working this week. Let me pull this comment away.
Well, I did choose all the winners like we promised.
Oh, yeah, but I'm thinking since we had this, to encourage commenting during the show, and I think everyone who's commented previously and currently up to this point, we'll do 2 winners, one from Facebook, one from YouTube.
Okay.
You're gonna pick a random number from 1 to 70, and then I'll go on the page and close my eyes and just touch something, and I will say their name.
Okay.
I'll send it.
What's the prize?
It's gonna be $75.
2 more $75.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's do about $80, just in case they want the Minikins. If they don't own it currently.
Okay.
Let's do 2 $80 prizes. So get your comments in really quick, because we're gonna do it in about 10 seconds. Let Sarah finish writing her stuff down.
Okay, I'm just writing.
You could say anything, how handsome I am, unleashing the beast, all that stuff. So let's do it, Sarah. 1 through, do a low number and a high number.
1 through 70?
Yeah, 1 through 73 now.
1 through 73. 4.
Okay. And I'm just gonna, whatever it lands on. Karen, make sure it's okay comment to post. Yeah, looks good to me.
Make sure it's an okay comment.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to put, in case someone wrote something inappropriate, then put it up there because we selected, and I'm like, whoa, I should not put that up there. Should read it first.
Karen Downs is our first $80 gift certificate winner. Karen, please email me after the show. Again, sarah@sewsweetness.com, Sarah with no H.
Okay, now high number, Sarah, up from 66 to 74.
68.
All right, 68. Let me do the, it's got to be YouTube, though. Okay. Natasha Hughes.
Natasha Hughes was the second winner, so congratulations to Natasha. Same thing, please email me. Congratulations to you both. And
oh, wow, it jumped up a lot more comments.
Just to be clear, because you can't see Danny's computer, the way when we do live giveaways, the way that we do things, he has software running with all of the Facebook and YouTube comments, and it's because there's so many comments during the show, there's pages and pages of comments, so he's just going through. The number he asked me for was the page number of comments, and there's 20 comments on every page, so that's what his portion of the giveaway was. So just to be totally transparent with what we're doing with the giveaways here. All right, do you want to get over to some questions? Have you been collecting?
I'll repost that.
Okay. Oh, the first one you had.
Yeah, it was long gone. Shoot.
Oh, no. Okay, I didn't even see it.
Yeah, I'll go back. I know where it's at.
Okay.
I should have saved that in a separate thing.
It's okay.
Guys, good gosh, those comments came through like floodgates.
While Danny's looking for the comment and the questions, someone emailed me recently a few weeks ago. I don't remember what prompted the email. I must have been talking about a sewing chair because I'm using a dining room chair right now for my computer/sewing chair. And she recommended a saddle seat chair, which is a lot of saddle seat chairs that I researched online had no backs to them. So basically it's, I guess it's similar to a bicycle seat, but the positioning of the chair puts you in a similar positioning that you would be if you were riding a horse. So slightly forward, your tailbone back, basically setting you up for good posture. So I purchased one of these chairs probably a few weeks before I get it, but I'll let you know feedback on the show. I've had bad posture for as long as I can remember, and I'm sure part of it is working at the computer and sewing a lot, but another part of it is just I allowed myself to stand in a certain way, not up straight. And so I'm looking forward to getting this chair, and hopefully it helps my posture. It'll be good to have good posture just because, but it'll be good for riding also. There's the question. Susan says, in a video earlier today for the Raw Edge composition book cover, you had machine embroidery on 2 of your cork samples. Do you use a magnetic hoop for cork to prevent damage, or does the cork survive the stress of a regular hoop without damage? So I personally have not yet embroidered cork. I had the or at least I had the cork fabric embroidered for me by friends, and then I finished up sewing the composition notebook. But speaking to people in the So Sweetness Facebook group in the past about embroidering cork, I think just about everyone that I spoke to said that they floated the cork, so hopefully that helps, rather than putting in a regular hoop so that the edges of the hoop would kind of damage the cork. So as far as I'm aware, you wanna float the cork. Same thing goes for vinyl or faux leather if you're using a different material for yours. RC says, what do you think of Decoville light instead of foam or fleece? I actually have, maybe I should do that, talk about that for the demo for next week's show. So I actually do have both Decoville light and Decoville heavy. I've used Decoville heavy before in place of Peltex. It's really hard to compare it because I would use it in place of Peltex, but it feels kind of totally different. Like the description on the Decoville heavy is gives bags a leather-like feel. So it is thinner than Peltex, which is nice. It makes it easier to sew. Both of those are fusible. The Decoville light reminds me of Pellon Decker Bond. So maybe on next week's show, I'll try to prepare samples, and I'll see what I can put together to compare it. But I wouldn't say it's a direct alternative for the foam interfacing just because it's different. It will still make the bags stand up by themselves, but it's just a different feel as far as the thickness goes. Donna says, wondering about how many jelly rolls did your rug take? Just one jelly roll. The finished rug is about 44 inches long. Probably depends slightly on how many fabric strips are in your jelly roll. Mine was a jelly roll from Robert Kaufman Fabrics, but it ended up being 44 inches long and then 30 inches wide. I measured it before the show. So it was just the one jelly roll, or you can cut your strips of fabric yourself. I think most jelly rolls have around 40 to 45 strips in them. Again, it depends on the fabric line or the manufacturer. But I did use just the single roll of, you can use just traditional batting. I used the batting on the roll, which is the correct size, and it's just a continuous roll. And this is from Bosel, and it's made specifically for the jelly roll rugs, either the long one that I made, which is the one in this picture, or they also have a pattern for a completely round version. So that's what I used for it. Diane says, what is the name of the rug pattern? It's called the Jelly Roll Rug. I think I'm going to jump out of my chair and grab the pattern so I can show everyone what the pattern looked like.
For sure. Someone had a question when you asked that. Danny, what projects did you work on this week? I'll tell you what. I mounted our television in our bedroom. I mounted the television in Violet's bedroom. I did an extensive amount of pool cleaning, yard maintenance. It's been a busy week.
Yeah, I don't mean this offensively, but
Here it comes. Someone says, I don't mean this offensively, but here comes something offensive.
No,
Please, go ahead, Sarah.
I've never seen
Abuse me.
Two things. I've never seen you do so much yard work.
I know.
And I've never seen you do it just of your own accord, not that I...
Pulling weeds? I've never done something like that. Yeah, he just goes out there,
like we're outside playing, and he's like pulling weeds.
I'm like, please, someone help me. No one helps.
I'm like, nah.
I feel for my mom. She did all the garden work forever. My mom has a beautiful garden, huge front yard, and she's done mowing the grass. She wanted it a certain way, and I can understand when you have something nice, you want to take care of it. But man, gosh, I'd really appreciate some help.
Well, I make dinner pretty much every night, so.
I do make alternate dinners and lunches for the children because they generally don't care
For the
for
children.
uh,
Here's the pattern. It's Jelly Roll Rug. The designer is RJ Designs. And the other patterns that she had, I pulled them out. Where's the other one? She has a few other like iterations. The same thing. You'll use the jelly roll with the batting strips. She has the Colossal Round Rug, which is the round one I was talking about. And like a square rectangle jelly roll rug. And when I was working on this pattern, there's also mention of smaller sizes, so if you wanted to make like a placemat, there's instructions for that inside, and the instructions for me I thought were really easy to understand. So Gina says, Sarah, you have spoiled me. Will there be a video for the Promise Ring backpack in the near future? I don't think I can do without it. So first of all, there is not a video yet for that one, but I will say if you ever need help, you can always email me. If you're stuck at a certain step, you need help getting past it, you can always email me. I'm not sure, honestly, I'm not sure when we can have a video prepared for that particular pattern. I did see Bronwyn made one recently, so maybe Bronwyn will, push it closer to the top of the list. I guess that's all I have. Yeah, sorry about that.
Baker Street bag. I just want to be the first.
Okay, you can answer that one. Yvonne says, best first bag to sew. Do you want to answer?
Baker Street bag.
And why?
It looks very nice. I think it's relatively low on the scale of difficulty. Plus, you can add additional stuff with the other videos we have too. If you want to put more pockets or you want to do changes to something, there's a lot of additions you can put onto it that we have tutorials for. But Baker Street bag, I think, from my perspective,
it lets you...
Easy hobo leather bags, another easy one.
Yeah, the Baker Street bag lets you try your hand at sewing with a zipper. Which...
If you want to practice darts, Oreo bag, free. These are all free patterns I'm mentioning because they're a great way to get your foot into the door and see if you enjoy making bags. And there's really no risk because I guess losing the fabric, but you just turn it into a quilt, right?
No, they're gonna finish. They're gonna finish the bag that they started working on.
Sure, yeah, I'm just thinking differently, I guess. Maybe because my park sling bag's still sitting over there on the side somewhere over there. Someone asked that in the questions.
I think you should never bring...
I'm like, I got this, Sarah, easy. And I cut it out. I didn't even attempt to sew it. I was like, oh, man, that cutting out
I think you were so off-put by cutting it out and my lack of help, I think.
I think the lack of help, instruction, hints. You expected it's my fault for my son who does this because I'm pretty sure I'm the same type of way. It's like if I'm doing something, I would really appreciate someone else doing it with me. I'm more of like a team person. So my son will be in the kitchen and he'll be like, he's gonna make chicken strips, and he has the bag of chicken strips in his hands, and he'll be like, hey, can you grab me that pan? I'm like, William, you're only holding the chicken strips. You can clearly put them on the counter and go grab a pan. And he's like, yeah, but it'd be easier if you just grab it for me. I'm like, William, I understand where you're coming from.
I think he mistakes the point of like asking someone to grab something, like if they're close by or walking.
I think he asked Sarah, and she was like washing dishes or something. I was washing
dishes, my hands were all wet, and he's like, "Oh, can you grab me a bowl from the cabinet?" And I was like, he wasn't doing anything. Nan says, "Is that tulip pink fabric on the bag behind Danny's head? The blue bag. Can you reach it from where you're sitting?" Someone actually emailed me about this bag. Yes. This is the satellite bag. Shara Fit Buddy on Instagram made this for me. She used the Tulip Pink Tabby Road fabric. She accented it with jeans blue cork fabric. And what else to say about this bag?
See on the side too.
There is also a tassel made with grass green cork on there. Yeah, super cute. And I like that the large print of the
fabric placement too. Fussy cutting.
Yeah.
Spot on.
All right, I'll pass that back over to you.
Let's keep here the rest of the show.
Okay.
Makes me feel comfortable.
Don't smoosh it or anything.
Tell me what to do again, Sarah. I'm already unchained.
Will there be a third Minikins package? Probably not, at least for the next few years. I have to say, I was thinking about it earlier today, that working on those 2 sets of Minikins were probably double the amount of work for a book, each of them, just because we had the videos to go along. I'm happy I did them. I wouldn't change anything, but it was like a marathon. Let's just put it that way. Judy says, what is the name of the bag that has the world map fabric? I love that bag. Oh, she doesn't mean a bag behind us. I did make a bag with
that large one.
Map fabric, the Sloan Travel bag.
Yep.
It's huge. I think it was 19 inches long. I've used it quite a few times for carry-on for flying. It fits a lot, has lots of pockets all over. Susan says, Danny, there's a really good video you can watch. Oh, for the, yeah, for the Park Sling backpack. That is true.
I thought that was
I think
funny.
that's why I wasn't helping you, because I knew that,
But it wasn't even like a video. A video doesn't show you how to cut the template around there or cut the pattern out per se.
yeah, but we've done videos for all that stuff. Unless you don't, like,
Sarah, I'm not paying attention to that detail. My detail is like looking at quality control, other stuff, not the actual content, but how the content looks.
Sometimes, occasionally sleeping.
Yeah, I've done that in the past.
Oh, it's so funny. Like, sometimes after a long day of filming a video, I'll look over and he's like sitting in the chair, like, probably a foot away from me and like feet up on the desk.
Are they going to say snoring? At least you didn't go that route.
That also. Deborah says, is it best to store cork rolled or flat? If you have the space to store it flat, you certainly can. Just don't fold it. I keep all of mine rolled just because it takes up less space. I just have a bin, like a little plastic container with handles. I think I purchased it from Target. It was meant to be used as what's it called when you have a party and you have ice in a container with drinks, like bottles of beer or something. It wasn't a cooler because it didn't have a lid. It was like a tote, I guess, a plastic tote. It takes up not a lot of space, and I have it under my desk where my sewing machine is, so it's out of the way. That's how I store my cork that I'm personally using. Mary Grace says, Sarah, are you interested in adding a computerized Juki to your sewing room? I did purchase at the beginning of quarantine, which is what I used to sew the Jelly Roll rug, because my Juki is straight stitch only, and the Jelly Roll rug uses either a zigzag stitch or a serpentine. By the way, someone, I don't remember who it was, recommended for my Jelly Roll rug that I use a serpentine stitch. They emailed me about it, and I did use that on my Jelly Roll rug, so thank you for the recommendation. I did purchase a Janome, what's the model number? Janome 6700P at the beginning of quarantine. I'd been thinking about that machine for most of last year, and I never did anything with it, with my thoughts. And then when quarantine hit, my favorite local quilt shop, I know they're a Janome dealer, and so I knew things were going to be difficult. I didn't know for how long and for how many businesses, but I wanted to do what I could to help, so I purchased that machine that I'd been thinking of since last year. So again, it was the Janome 6700P. The reason I was thinking about that particular one is because I love my Juki, and I love that it's all metal. And I also wanted an all mostly metal computerized machine. There wasn't a Juki machine that was mostly all metal and computerized, but that Janome machine is, and so it's extremely similar to my Juki, and so that's why I got that. Also, I wanted to sew I just wanted to have the other stitch capabilities, and if I was just sewing bags, I would just have stuck with my Juki, but I just wanted to branch out with I guess some other projects, and Violet can use that machine too if we're sewing together. So Janice says, does your rug have a backing? It's actually double-sided, so when you're sewing it together, did you throw the rug on the floor already?
Sure did.
Do you mind? Can you reach it, or?
Heck no.
I'll grab it.
Sarah, I am positioned tightly
You're fine.
under this desk.
I'm not criticizing you. You're fine.
I'm constrained by these wired electronics.
So here's the front of the Jelly Roll rug, and here's the back. It's basically the same. The stitches look basically the same on the front and the back. So when you finish it, when you finish sewing all the strips around, you're done. Cindy says, is there a video tutorial on making the rugs that you would recommend? I honestly didn't even look for a video tutorial because the instructions I felt like they were straightforward. However, I guess a video might be helpful for troubleshooting. I had the first go around, I ripped a few rows out just because my corners and stitches were not how I would have liked them. By the way, the instructions for the Jelly Roll rug note a walking foot is optional. I think it should be almost mandatory because my first set of stitches were all bunched together, which I should know from making bags, but I feel like the walking foot is really mandatory for that project. So Moni says, Jelly Roll rug, would you say is beginner friendly? I think so, especially if you were starting off with a smaller go around, like maybe the placemats. The only difficult thing about the rug being as large as it is, as you start adding more and more rows, it's harder to finagle through, not finagle through your machine, but like it's on your tabletop, like the rug is taking up a lot of space, and it's noted in the instructions you need to do the best you can to keep it flat the whole time to prevent waviness and that kind of thing. So I actually ended up, that Janome sewing machine has a propped up table, and I used the table from my Juki and kind of butted it up to the end of that one so that I would have like a bigger table working space. The instructions also say you can put your sewing machine on a bar stool and use your regular table for the work area, since the bar stool would kind of lower the sewing machine so that it would be about table height, your work area. So either way, again, you can always, like I said, make a smaller rug or the placemats first. Then I think it would be a little bit more confident, beginner friendly. Jackie says, sorry, it's Decoville 526. Is this heavy or light Decoville? I don't know off the top of my head. I have it in the desk over here. Danny's going to look it up really quick. So we'll hold off on that answering that question for just a second. Susan says, will you be stocking antique bronze zipper by the yard and hardware? So I was... Okay, antique bronze, probably not, unfortunately. We are short on space in the studio, and I was considering, but hadn't decided yet, ordering zipper by the yard and gunmetal since people had been asking for it, and I thought, it didn't occur to me today, but if I ordered the zipper by the yard and gunmetal, we'd also need matching pulls for that, so that would take up more space.
I guess 526 comes in normal as heavy, and you can also get a 525 is light. So 526 is heavy, 525 is light.
Okay. Okay. 526 is Decoville.
Is a thicker, slightly heavier alternative to 525 Decoville light.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so that answered that question.
You answered this one on the screen?
Yes, I did. Karen says, how about a bag of wool, fabric, and cork? What bag would you recommend? You know what bag would... Well,
I know one.
There's a lot. I did make the Kennedy bag with wool and faux leather for the accents. You could also make the... Oh, that was the Tudor bag. Yeah, that was the Tudor bag. Sorry, my mistake. The Easy Leather Hobo bag would be good for wool fabric for the body of the bag, and then you could use cork for the handles. That would look really nice. Kyla says, will you be making a Rockstar video soon? We're hoping to. Honestly, we're waiting for some more equipment for filming before we're able to film. So we're going to film the new pattern as soon as I finish it, and then the Rockstar bag. We're going to try to film those pretty close together just because I know a lot of people have been waiting for the Rockstar bag. I did originally promise it for the spring, and then the pandemic happened, and then moving, and it kind of... we had to start from scratch with our film setup, but we are still going to hit that Rockstar bag video soon. Kathleen says, Sarah, I think you might do a tutorial with the quilt Uppity shared on IG or favorite. I don't think I saw that one. Oh, maybe she meant the quilt I shared on Instagram. Oh, the favorite one. I don't think I'll do a tutorial for that one because honestly, it's a super easy quilt, and it's not my pattern, but I highly recommend getting the book that the pattern's in, and the book is called Modern Quilt Magic by Victoria Finley Wolfe. You can either try to get that from your local library or the ebook version, or just purchase the regular book, and there's several other projects from that book that I wanted to make also. I also highly recommend, I did use the optional acrylic template. It's just one acrylic template for that particular quilt. I bought it from Victoria Finley Wolfe's website, and it made the cutting, because you have to cut so many of those, so many of these segments. Let me hold it up so you could see. These are all the same. It's sort of like a wedge-shaped piece. But there's also a cutout in the piece for marking because you have to position all of the pieces along the marking to get them to line up correctly. The template made the cutting process so fast. If I had to cut all of those pieces out by hand, it would take me days, I have to say. Lucinda says, do you sell red and gray leather fabrics so I can make my bag? We're out of stock on the red faux leather. Gray, we have not yet gotten gray, but I did inquire with the manufacturer about ordering, and I think I investigated maybe 7 or 8 new colors of faux leather that we were going to add to the shop based on my order. We were just waiting for the shipping costs to come down since it's coming from overseas, and right now the shipping costs are really high because there's not a lot of flights going in and out, especially of the country. However, the manufacturer just let me know the other day that the shipping prices are coming down, so we're going to try to get those in, hopefully, if not by the end of the month, hopefully beginning of July. Marcia says the zipper pulls on your website will fit on any zipper tape as long as they are the same size. Not necessarily. So for sure, the zipper pulls that we sell will fit on the zipper tape that we sell. However, not every manufacturer is the same, so they might fit on another zipper tape from another shop, but they might not. So if you're not sure, before you splurge on like 10 different styles of pulls from my shop, if you're trying to use it with a tape that you already have, maybe just get one pack just to make sure before you purchase additional pulls. Again, there's probably like a 50-50 chance of our pulls fitting on someone else's pulls, or maybe it's higher. I'm not sure. Lori says, did you use batting or rope on your Jelly Roll rug? So I used batting, and I used the batting from Bosel, but you can use whatever batting you want. This is 100% cotton. I just chose this so that I wouldn't have to cut the strips and piece them together. It's like a continuous roll. I'm usually about convenience, especially trying to finish projects quicker. Barb says, did you use one of those bias tape makers to fold the fabric on the rug? I did. Let me grab it because it's right over here.
Teresa wants to know if we have the purple cork in stock.
Just regular purple?
So it says.
I believe we do, yeah. We do have, I'm pretty sure we do have the plum purple cork in stock. We're waiting on, our manufacturer was out of eggplant last time, so we're still waiting on the eggplant, and we do have violet cork, which I believe that one's in stock as well. So this is the tool. There's several different brands that you can use, but this is the one that I chose. Jelly Roll tube maker. It's specifically made for the width of the Jelly Roll rug. And so what you do is the fabric goes in the wider end on the bottom, and the batting, you stack the batting on top. And so I just sat with this at my sewing machine, and I pulled it through. I pulled it through, and it went through the sewing machine, folded up. I just folded it again in half, but it was really handy, and it made the work a lot faster. So I didn't have to iron this before I hit it with the needle. It just folded it for me, and then I just went along sewing. But again, it's Gypsy Quilter Jelly Roll tube maker.
Connie says the Polaris bag for wool and cork.
Yes, that's a great idea. Thank you, Connie. Great suggestion. Michelle says, is the SF911 fusible okay to use if I'm out of SF101? What is that one sheer weight? Can you Google that one?
What's that?
Pellon SF911. Yeah, I know Pellon Shape Flex is really hard to get right now. My distributor has been out of it for some time. What is Pellon? Oh, you have to put Pellon on there too. I know people have been asking for alternatives for that particular interfacing, especially for linings. Fusible featherweight. Okay, so the 911F is Pellon fusible featherweight. I do have some fusible featherweight in my stash. I think I've used it before for garment making, like for plackets and collars. It is a bit thinner than Pellon Shape Flex, which is SF101. I think it would be okay to use in a pinch for your lining fabrics, definitely. Yeah, I don't know what else I was going to say about that. Terry says, if you would share what is the best seller for the acrylic templates, I want to take the plunge. The acrylic templates, the top, okay, let's think about the top 5.
Zipper
pocket template of our acrylic templates.
Seam Guide.
Far and away the #1 seller. Seam Guide is probably a close second with the purse tabs.
Yep.
The Day Trip, out of all the acrylic templates for the actual sewing projects. The Day Trip cell phone wallet is tops, and what else? The Baker Street bag, which is a free pattern. The Baker Street bag is just one acrylic template, but that's probably one of the other top sellers. Most of the top sellers are for techniques like the zipper pocket. We have a rounding corner template, a taper corner template, stuff like that that you can use for boxing corner template. Those are all really high sellers for our acrylic templates. Kathy says, I do not see the Oslo craft bag on the website. Is it still available? So we have I believe it's a tab on the website that says newsletter. And the Oslo craft bag is a free pattern and video that you get for signing up for the newsletter. So you just need to sign up and then it'll be automatically delivered to you. And if you have any issues with that, you can always email me. And my email is sarah@sewsweetness.com. You calling on the question?
Yes, ma'am.
It feels so quick. It feels like the show flew by, like we just started.
It did go fast.
All right. I apologize if I did not get to your question live, but I'll be back next Sunday demonstrating more things and answering more questions. I decided for tonight's giveaway that I would like to give away, since we were talking about the Jelly Roll rug earlier, I would like to give away one unopened package of that Bosel batting on a roll that's good for the Jelly Roll quilt. And 2 patterns, the Jelly Roll rug, the rectangle version, and the round rug version. So the roll of batting with the 2 patterns, you supply your own either Jelly Roll or fabric strips. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is answer my giveaway question wherever you watch the show, either on Facebook or YouTube. Just answer in the comments. I will be drawing a winner next Saturday at the end of day, and I will announce the winner on next Sunday's show. All you have to do is answer this question. What is your favorite ice cream flavor? What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Coffee, probably.
Particular brand or just any coffee ice cream?
Breyer's coffee.
I like, I've been trying to look for dairy-free ice cream. Usually my favorites are either chocolate or mint chocolate chip. Danny got me a couple almond milk dairy-free ice creams. They were both with like Oreo cookies in them. One was vanilla and one was chocolate. So far I've only tried the chocolate. It's pretty good, but I have a feeling that the cookies were put in there to sort of mask the flavor of the ice cream, which, whatever, it is what it is, but I still have sherbets and stuff. So I also like the...
I do love sherbet, actually. Yeah, that might be my favorite, actually. Take that back.
There's a raspberry sherbet that's really good. It's in that like expensive little container, the plastic...
Gelato style?
Yeah, it's like a gelato style. The brand name escapes me, but that one's really good too.
I'm more of an orange or lime sherbet.
Lemon's good too. All right. Thank you everyone for watching the show. I hope you have a great week and happy sewing.
Bye
everyone. Everybody.